taxes. Let's see, does it show it on here? I haven't even thought about that. Property tax. Doesn't really. This is estimated for 8,500. Okay, so property taxes looks like it's a little similar, but property tax here. I mean, I don't know how to compare this without just doing the math real quick, but it should be triple. Oh, it's actually not triple. Ugh. But yeah, taxes are expensive and definitely more expensive in LA in every single way. Property tax, sales tax, income tax. I could totally. I think I could buy this home right now. I could totally buy this one if I was still there. This was a nice area. There's a huge golf course. This is like $500,000 houses. I don't want to look at this. It's making me depressed. All right, let's get into things, huh? Shall we? All right, so welcome again to the stream. Everyone that's in here, let's get some chat hype going. We're gonna start off. We got 2 resumes to go over. After that, I want to cover these 2 topics. This one most importantly. I don't know if I'll do this one. It depends on who's in chat, because I think I want to do this like if you are doing this type of work, this is how you can find experience. This is how you can reach out to people. This is how you cold DM people. This is how you can like network, right? So depending on who's in chat, we'll do this. And then these are also some other ideas that I have to kill the rest of the time. And then also Q&A. Q&A. Otherwise, yeah, we'll just see how today's stream goes. Hopefully we get some people, get some interactions. We've had some pretty hype chats, streams recently. So hopefully we can keep that going. Let's get into things. So we got a resume from Adib. Sorry. We got a resume from Adib. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that name right. It is for a events, esports events work. And I think there's a lot of things to talk about with this one. It feels like a very first time doing resume. I think it's from someone from college. So we'll see how this one goes. I think there's gonna be a lot of comments on this. So if your resume looks like this, you probably have a lot of work to do. All right, so my thing I do, first impressions, get it all on one page. This is 2 pages long. I like the color and the organization. I like that it's colored. I like that there's organization on here, but I think the organization doesn't add anything. It's kind of confusing. I do one big thing. This was sent to me as a docx. You should never be applying to any job with a docx unless they're specifically asking for it. If it's an option, don't even send it as a docx. Send it as a PDF. So I personally converted this to a PDF, and there's some formatting issues. Although when I opened it as a docx, there was still formatting issues with this. So I'm guessing when you created this, this wasn't happening, but it happened. That's why you don't send it as a docx. What you do is you get the formatting right, save it as a PDF, and then all this stuff just freezes in place, and then you check it to make sure it's okay. So this is really, really bad. I would actually very heavily consider throwing out this resume after I saw this, right? And then yeah, just formatting is really, really just messed up. We've got some long links here. That's really bad, really ugly. So just be aware of that. We had personal information here that I got rid of. So I censored it for you. Don't forget, when you send your resume, censor it for me. And okay, we have an executive summary, which is nice. And I'm going to read that because I think that's part of the first impression. Esports manager, coach, game analyst, content creator, focused on planning and executing esports events. I've traveled across India participating and volunteering at tournaments, which has given me a good understanding of the Indian esports ecosystem. Have managed teams in the past, including players to management. Content creator and founder of... Okay, so this is okay. I think nothing really stands out to me. If I'm assuming you're applying for uh maybe like an event coordinator position, that's helpful because I know that you've done it. What confuses me is that being a coach, a game analyst, a content creator, actually, okay, at least being a coach and game analyst, I don't know how that helps you execute on esports events. It shows a few characteristic qualities that I can think of that I might assume, but other than that, it's a little confusing. Yeah, I don't really know what you're applying for. I mean, I think it's focused on planning and executing esports events. So that's a community coordinator or an event coordinator. That's what I would say. Um, People are sending me probably general resumes, but you should never, ever, 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 ever send the same resume to the same job. Like at least you should change like the organization or what the job title you're applying for is in your executive summary. Bare minimum. After that, I would say like you change your bullet points in every single experience to make sure it matches what the job posting is asking for. Okay. So yeah, this is a to me this is a little weak, but it does okay. The experience, there's a weird bullet point here, so there's again formatting issues, but I don't think this is a conversion issue from docx to PDF. I think this is kind of a maybe a lazier resume, maybe put together really really quickly. This is kind of weird that the date's up here first because I actually look at this before your esports coach and team manager. So that's kind of weird. We got some bullet points, and the bullet points are different. You have a dot, and these are dashes. You got skills, which are okay. And then you have education, achievements. I'll put these achievements above. Personal details at the bottom. I'm okay with that too. I don't know why you need your address. I don't know why you need your date of birth. That's really odd to me. Good that you have languages there. And this whole thing is, this is super super weird. Like, you don't need to put this. I think this is like a checkbox for when you apply for jobs. When you say like my resume is this is legal stuff. Also, you have your primary schooling there and intermediate schooling. That's really odd to me. Like why does it matter which elementary or primary school you went to? That means nothing to me. Especially after I know that you have college education. Like that's all that I care about. Unless these are something prestigious, but I'm not that familiar with India's ecosystem and applying for jobs in India. If you're specifically applying for jobs in India, I'm not very aware of what that looks like, but it's very odd to put that on there. His achievements seem pretty cool, but nothing about this is all competitive placements, and I don't know because I'm not familiar with the scene in esports scene in India. I don't know what these are. So that's another thing to be thinking about who you're tailor that to who you're applying for, and putting links will even help if it's worth putting links in. Okay, let's dive deeper into this and get some like really good yeah, I don't think in India matters. Like I don't see it unless it's like a prestigious private school or something, but even then like um maybe that just comes off as snobbish. If you're like the only flex you're putting your primary school is in there for is because your parents paid a lot of money for you to go there. I don't really know. I care about the college more. I think Carol's right about that. All right, let's dig deep, figure out the heavy hitters, the low hanging fruit to really improve this resume. Let's go back to the executive summary. I think, okay, first of all, biggest gripe, esports. You never spell esports that way. Only acceptable ways to spell esports is this and this. Those are your two options. Only two options. And I would consider this one always like that. You can always capitalize it. Don't put this hurts, this hurts, this hurts. Never do these. Never, never, ever, 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 ever. Don't do this. This shows me that you don't know esports. That actually hurts me so much. So you have to think like what you're applying for, which I'm assuming is event coordinator. Why does it matter that you've been a manager, coach, game analyst, or content creator, right? And when I think about that, I can give reasons for you to say a manager because that requires a lot of organization. You work with people and coordinating times, schedules, uh, events, just wrangling and being detail oriented. I think that is important, right? Coach, I don't think so. Game, because these are all familiarity with games and how well you can talk about games and talk to people. So I don't think that's really important. And then content creator, that I think that is important because you might know more about social media. You might know how to collect content from the event for vlogs, those kind of things. So I would just keep those two, right? But you also have to think like, do you have a reason? Do you have a reason to put content creator? Do you have anything to show as a content creator? Because everyone is a content creator. Everyone says they're a content creator. How does that actually help you plan and execute esports events? And if you told me that, that would be really helpful, actually. Like, you're not convincing me in anything here. You're just telling me things that you've done, but actually show me like how you've changed things up. What's up, Stefan? We got our first comment from YouTube chat, and I don't think that actually goes into. Unfortunately, that doesn't go into Streamlabs. I gotta figure that out. Stefan Delaveau. Welcome, welcome. I don't think I've seen your name in here before, so that's really exciting. You are literally the first person to ever comment on the YouTube chat. But that's also because last time, the stream went unlisted rather than public, so no one saw it existed. That was pretty sad. Someone caught it for me like midway through, but okay, let's keep going. So what I was saying is you're just telling me things that you've done, which is helpful, but telling me what you've done versus telling me what you have achieved and how you can help me in my problems is going to be the biggest impact, right? Example of that would be like esports manager, content creator focused on planning and executing that have ran 13 tournaments and over 13 tournaments with over 100 participants on average for each or something like that, right? You got to wordsmith it better than I did. I'm just coming up with the top of my head, off it in the top of my head, just giving you those bullet points to like finesse later. Is it Stefan? Is that oh actually, is it Stefan? Is it Steven? I think it's is it Steven? I think there's multiple ways to pronounce that name. He just said you pronounced my last name correctly. That has never happened for people that can't see that in chat. Steven. Yeah, Delaveau. That sounds French to me, and I've taken French. So, how do people pronounce it? I'm guessing Dela. Actually, I don't even know how you would mispronounce that. To me, that's like super, super obvious. All right. People put R's. That's weird. All right. Wow, I just totally got sidetracked. People add and remove letters. I totally get that. That's so annoying. Wow, sidetracked. Anyway, that's okay. Always interrupt my flow. Ask questions. It's okay. That's what editing this afterwards does. Okay, so yeah, you want to show impact. You want to impress them. And then what I would want as a hiring person is to see this statement and be like, wait, he can do that for me? Like, that's what I need. I need this person. Now I'm interested and I'm going to actually see like what his experiences are, get more detail and be convinced like, oh my gosh, Adib, like I'm so excited to bring you on to the team. I want to talk to you during the interview to figure out like how you can do it and how you can solve my problems, right? That's what you got to think, and that's what you have to convey with your resume. Now, obviously, you're not going to do that fully with the summary or executive summary, profile, whatever you want to call it, but that's what you need to start like making them think. So I've traveled across India participating and volunteering at tournaments, which has given me a good understanding of the Indian esports ecosystem. So that's cool. So you're telling me like what you did and what the impact of that was, which is a good understanding. So that's better, right? I've managed teams in the past, including players to management. So that grammatically, that's a little weird. Content creator and founder of EDX Gaming, which I saw nothing about. That's a red flag to me too. And I'm a content creator and founder of Sam Han Esports YouTube channel. Anyone can say they're content creator and founder of whatever. I think we had a resume before when someone said like they're founder of some house cleaning thing, a power washer or something like that. I can't remember, or like car wash. And then they actually, like, anyone can say that, but they actually showed like, hey, we made $30,000 in revenue. I manage like X amount of employees and all these kind of things. So everyone says that, and everyone's first impression about if they founded or created something is like everyone can. I'm an influencer on Twitter and Instagram with my 1,000 followers or like net 2,000 followers. Like anyone can say that, right? So make sure if you're gonna put it on your resume, it better be worth talking about. If it's not, if you're gonna be like, I'm a founder of Samhan Esports, and then they ask me like, what is that? If your answer is like, oh, it's just a small thing, I'm just creating YouTube channels, I've been like putting some videos and it doesn't really have views, but I did it. If that's the only thing you can say about it, it's not worth putting on your resume. Thanks, Steven. Those are kind words. So yeah, shape up that summary to be more impactful and to convince me like why I need to hire you and what experiences you have and what you've done previously that I can see fit for my current work that I need done from you. All right, going into experience. Again, this is kind of weird with this bullet point. It's super weird. Like, you don't need to accentuate experience by having the bullet point. It's being bold and black is good enough. I would also say these dates are less important than this esports coach. And I would also think about how you want to bold, how you want to color, and how you want to organize information. Because what I would do is I would look at, every time I see bold and black, that means it is a start of a new section, which also you have this line here, right? So do you need both? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I'm seeing 3 colors where I'm seeing like, I think this is like gray. Oh, everything is gray. I'm seeing black and I'm seeing blue. So why do I have 3 colors and what does that signify? I'm seeing, actually I think this is a different font. And if not, it's all caps. And they're all capital letters, but some of them are smaller than others. So what does that mean? Because I only see that for dates, and do I really need that separation for dates? I have this big, bold, and blue, and then gray. Like, if you're going to do design stuff, but you are if you're going to do design stuff, but you don't know how to do design, that is going to look bad, right? I'd rather you use a template and just fill in your information there so make sure it looks good. I'd rather this be all black, the same font, and just using these lines to separate things, because then that'll look cohesive and good. I'd rather see that than an attempt to do design that's very distracting. Good morning, Dweebazoid. So be really, really careful when you do this kind of stuff. Be really careful. Okay. Esports coach and team manager. And in the back of my head, I'm thinking this person is looking for an event coordinator position. Blitz Zone, Bangalore. Hosted events for the cafe from ground up. What's the cafe? I don't know what is Blitz Zone the cafe? I'm not sure. And again, know your audience. Maybe they know it. I don't. So be a good judge of that. Whoever's reading this, do they know what you're talking about, right? Maybe a link would help. Managing social media. Okay, so first of all, this should all be past tense. It's not past tense, it's not past tense, it's not past tense, it's not past tense, but half of them are. So there's stuff there that's kind of a problem. This is a really weird bullet point. It's not capitalized, so there's proofreading issues. Scheduled, planned, and conducted practice sessions to review, evaluate, and provide feedback. Worked on acquiring sponsors for the team and develop relations with them, so that's spelled wrong. Prepare and review operational reports, rosters, and schedules to ensure accuracy and efficiency. Raise necessary prerequisites to the organization in order to improve efficiency. Replay analysis along with third-party tools to gather data and track progress. Develop, planned, and executed, not capitalized. Develop, planned, and executed Blitz Zone Premier League, monitoring the health of both mental and physical players, both mental and physical. Okay, so this is just you telling me you're a coach, right? So nothing here really tells me how you can do event coordination. So I'm just confused, like what's going on here? Like what do you need to do? What's the point of this? Why does this convince me you're a good person to run esports events? Maybe ensuring team compliance. So I think there's a lot of bullet points here because you're just listing off every single thing you've done. And again, we need to get this down to 1 page. 2-page resumes are just, there are some instances where you could use it, but I think for any entry level experience, just the exercise of getting your content brief is important, because then it's like, what is the most important things about me, and what's the most important things the person that's looking at my resume needs to know about me. You know, if you use the second page for just links, I'm okay with that. But you just putting everything means that you're not really thinking about me. You're just thinking about yourself. And you're just like, this is everything I did. Done. So none of this screams that you know how to do an event. And even though you said hosted events from the ground up, like, tell me about the impact. Again, give me numbers, especially for event coordination. There's a good amount of numbers. Like, hey, what was the return from the second event? How much money did you make? How many people arrived? How many participants were there? How much social media engagement did you get from all the postings? Who did you manage? How many people did you manage? How many volunteers were there? Those kind of things, right? Thank you, KP Gemini, for the follow. Much appreciated. Oh man, I really need to get those alerts set up for YouTube. I have no idea what's going on, and Steven's just carrying the whole YouTube scene on his shoulders here to support me, and we don't even have a chat box for him. Thank you, KP Gemini. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Welcome to the casual club. Yep, Dweeb, you're right. It's just listing your responsibilities. This is what your boss tells you to do, or this is what what you've done, rather than showing me impact. And even if you're applying for a coaching or team manager position, worked on acquiring sponsors for the team and develop relationships with them, right? That's like, oh, that's a big deal. Did you get any? I don't know. I don't know what has happened, right? Everything here tells me like I did things but nothing came of it, or I did things, nothing tells me you're good at your job. Nothing here tells me you're good at your job. That's the big problem here. Even as an esports coach or a team manager. I'm not saying you aren't, but you got to convince me, and you have like 30 seconds to convince me. And I'm giving you like 30 minutes to try to convince me. Okay, skills. Organizational leadership, operations management, social media engagement, product management, team building, rational problem solving, time management, flexible and adaptive. I think you can throw random buzzwords and keywords in here if they match the application you're applying for, just so people can like be like kind of duped and like, oh, I looked for someone organized and this person said he's organized. I'm kind of okay with that, but this should literally be like the least important thing. And you're putting it in a big bold box, and this is gray and this is black. Like, it's just really distracting. And this is you just, again, saying buzzwords that aren't meaningful versus showing me that you can do these in your experience and your summary. So you don't want this to distract from everything else. But if I want to quickly look at like, oh, does this person have Adobe experience? Does this person have sponsorship or partnership understanding or marketing understanding? Like then I can look for the skills, but you don't want ever your skills section to like really stand out, right? So education, like this doesn't tell me anything. You don't have a GPA on there, which is perfectly fine. If you don't have an impressive GPA, I omit it. All you need to show probably for an event coordinator position like this, especially because you're in engineering, which doesn't have to do with anything with event coordination. I just want to know that you have a degree, and it's impressive. I think impressive that you have an engineering degree. Any technical degree shows like you know how to learn, and you've gone through. Engineering is really really tough, so you've gone through like a really difficult collegiate program. That's all I need to know from here. Everything else, I think you could scratch out, especially because you have nothing else to say and it doesn't say anything about you for the position. If it does, for example, let's say you went to like a really prestigious high school and you are the captain of like the number one um, cricket team in high school in India, like, yeah, you could put that in there, but there's no reason. This doesn't tell me anything. Doesn't convince me anything. Okay, so achievements. Even this line has changed. This has been gray and thicker, and this is thinner and white, black, and there's two lines here. Oh, I can't get over this formatting. This formatting is really, really bugging me, dude. But at least that's a quick fix. Seriously, just go into Word, go into Google, go for a free like online search. What am I looking for? Resume templates. You can even go to YouTube. Yeah, free resume templates. Bam. You get some pretty ones that even though I think some of them might be garbage, like this one, this whole skills section, like you could just move that to the bottom. It still would be better. Any of these would be better formats. These are clean, much cleaner. And then you can even do like, you can find creators that have free downloaded templates. Let's see. Elegant resume design and Microsoft. Oh wait, no, these are. Download all these resumes. See, right here. You really want to go into design and make your resume stand out. There's just so many resources. Don't do the hard work if you, especially if like you're not design focused. Okay, achievements. Second place, second. So these are all just achievements of your team, which is really impressive. It shows a lot. But I don't know what any of these tournaments are. Again, if you're playing local, this is probably a lot more important, or if you're playing within the country. But this again doesn't tell me anything about event coordinating, right? And let's go into team management and coaching. Let's say you're applying for a team manager job or a coaching job. Even this makes it really difficult. What I would want to see is like how well you performed, which this is doing, but also like what's the prestige level of all these tournaments? Are there 5 participants in this Dota? Oh, this is ESL, so actually that stands out to me, right? So ESL, I would put those at the top. I don't know what Cobb X Masters is. Cobb X Masters. Okay, so maybe I just don't know. Seems like this might be there's a prize pool of 200,000. So what's the prize pool you got for this? And it's really odd to me that you're starting with a 2018 where you got second place when you could say first place on these two. So even this one, this is 2020, and you got high ranking in an ESL tournament. So you're going in chronological order when I think even going reverse chronological order could be more impressive when it comes to your wins. But again, this could be my unfamiliarity with these tournaments. But you could even combine this. You know, placed top 3, placed top 2 in 5 tournaments that include insert big name here. You know, and then secondary name and then tertiary name. So you could be like, yeah. And then you could say like, oh, top 5 placings in the following or whatever. And you can put more bullet points. So like, I don't want to read 8 bullet points. So just show me how good you are, right? Again, personal details, probably not as important. It's also bolded. It's also just like really, really accentuated for very little reason. I think willing to relocate internationally is very important to put on there. Your language is important because that does help too. Date of birth means nothing to me. Nationality, I think, means nothing to me. And if anything, yeah, and your address means absolutely nothing to me too. And then this declaration means nothing to me as well. So, the take. Oh, I didn't even talk about this YouTube. So I think it's good that you linked all this stuff. Your YouTube. Let's go check it out. So I think this YouTube might hurt you because first thing is I'm gonna like see how good your clout is, right? I'm gonna be like, oh, you have 5 million subscribers. Wow, that's impressive. And right now, the first thing that popped in my head, which is unfortunate, but I'm not. Oh, you only have 39 subscribers. You're not really like a content creator, which is really sad. Like that's a bad thing to assume, and that takes a lot away from you. But that's what I'm thinking, right? So you have a podcast. So is this something that you're proud of to show off? What are you showing here? This is 720p? Yeah, it is.
Hi,
Okay.
I'm Mano and I play for ROG. I'm 7K MMR right now.
What's the last tournament you played, bro?
Last, like, I
Who
played
do you think?
ESL India.
Which do you think is the strongest team in this tournament?
Think it's the randoms, the Ganesha's team.
Hmm. So I mean, right now, I don't know. It's cool that you're doing like a podcast with. What's up, Worm? I really don't know what to think about this. Like, I'm confused, right? I'm only giving you 30 seconds. I'm confused about this. I don't know what you're doing. Educational gaming content to help you learn the game and play more efficiently in every way. That's cool. You got some views on things, so that's actually impressive. But yeah, I don't know if you want to show this off. I don't know. Chat, what do you guys think? I'm like very confused at what's going on here. And again, like I'm giving you more attention than other people would when they're actually exploring your resume and your application. So if someone has less time than me, yeah, I don't think they're gonna be impressed about these things. So keep that in mind. Yeah, I think there's potential here, but as a events person, this doesn't give me any confidence at all. As a manager, a coach, an analyst, I have a lot more confidence in you. If you're trying to, be Team Liquid's analyst for Dota 2. Yes. But then this resume has to be completely different. Dweeb says thinks it has potential. Worm says no. Link low views, but it's not. It needs to be clear and concise on the first viewing. Yep, I agree with that. KP Gemini, you're a person not accepting what's in the video and losing interest. Yeah. So that's a little tricky. Like, I wouldn't link my LinkedIn if it was not updated. Also, page is not found. So that's also not good. Is it underscore? Is that why? Nope. So you have a dead link too. That's a problem. So, okay. So in conclusion, I think there's a lot to do on here. I think the lowest hanging fruit is figuring out, like, whatever you're applying for, you need to make sure your resume really, really shows the impact and convinces the person that you can do what they need. You can solve their problems. And maybe you don't have the experience to do that. Maybe you do, right? Even in your esports coach and team manager stuff, which I think that's where you would be more focused on esports career right now with your current experience, what you should do is talk about the problems that you've solved as a team manager to get these achievements. And also, I don't see these achievements in here. So you saying that you were able to get first place at Dota 2 because even like by finding all 5 players, or, you know, being able to get the players' MMR higher and their game knowledge higher. Like, those kind of things is what I want to see in here. I want to see, again, I want to picture you in my position and be like, wow, I need Adib to be able to do that with my team. That's what needs to happen. And if it's event coordinating, then I need to be like, I need Adib to do what he did at Blitz Zone, if that's an event, with our tailgates at LCS or our international events or our PC cafe or whatever it is. And I don't see that, or it's really, really hard. So that's the biggest thing you need to fix here. Second, get a completely different format. Make sure when you save it as a PDF and you send it off to people as a PDF, like, formatting doesn't screw up. I think those are the 2 biggest things, right? And then just take out all the stuff that is not applicable to the job. Okay? Thanks, Adib, for the resume. Really appreciate it. Good luck. What do you guys think about the resume? General thoughts? Actually, yeah, you make a good point, because if I was doing event coordinating, one of the things to do is like doing a minute by minute in a schedule, right? So if I'm able to see if I can find an example of this. Event schedule. If I need someone to put together something like this, actually, let me show you. I have an example. I've done this. Let's see, don't want to release anything that, I don't think there's anything really sensitive in here, but this is for Golden Guardians Media Day. I had to put this together, right? This is gonna be really hard to see, but this is a schedule for all the stations, color coded, sorted by groups, and even freelancer schedules over here for multiple stations, for multiple photo shoots and video shoots. Also presentations and orientation and all these kind of things, right? Even like partnership deliverables. This is my schedule, right? And then I also have to make individual schedules for every single person. Each group leader had their own schedule. Each freelancer had their own schedule. Each station had their own schedule. You even have the floor map of everything. Yeah. all the stuff, and then obviously the master schedule. So if I think like this person needs to be able to put together schedules for the event, and it looks like this, I'm a little bit worried. I'm actually very, very worried. Because even I think I didn't make it as pretty as it should be. It doesn't need to look like this, right? But it needs to be functional and organized. If you can make it pretty, that's nice. But I don't think design is your strong suit, Adib. All right. Let's move on to the next one. Taylor. This is really awkward. You put me in a very difficult position. Because I don't know if I should call you a she or a he. Because Taylor can be a female name or a male name. So that gets tricky for me. All right, let's get into this resume review, guys. We got another resume here from Taylor. I don't know if it's a guy or girl. They are from San Francisco. So I don't know what pronouns I'll be using during this whole thing. And pronouns are a tricky thing nowadays. But anyway, let's get into it. First impressions. It's one page. I love one-page resumes. For entry level, that's important. There's a quick summary there. Seeking opportunities to lead and grow in global gaming operations. So that actually tells me exactly what you're looking for. Or it tells me at least a vision and a passion. That's what I get from it, right? And literally, you're seeking opportunities. So that's perfectly fine. You're looking for a job to grow in global gaming and operations. Again, like this kind of shows me the impression I'm getting is you're a go-getter and you want to be involved in gaming and probably the operations side. So that's cool. It's kind of vague, and I think this is a good general resume. And then once you go into like I'm applying for director of operations position, I'm applying for event coordinating, media management, that's when you start changing this up to be very tailored to whatever you are specifically applying for. Right? It's a girl. It's a guy. It's a girl. I'm getting I'm getting conflicting information. Taylor, if you're in here, let me know. I don't know who you are. All right. Also, this is a good usage of different fonts, different colors, bolding. And what I'm seeing, good morning. I don't know if they can see you, but it's fine. Hi, Tibbers. You taking them out? You sleep well? Something that I notice is I'd rather have your experience and leadership at the top, right? This first third, technical proficiencies, key skills, favorite games, education, that's less important to me than your experience and leadership. And I would probably put your experience over leadership. Yeah. Well, we'll see when I go through it, but that's what I think. Chat says, good morning, Mrs. Casual. Taylor is a person. We do know that. Yeah, because, again, I've repeated this before. Most likely, they will not, whoever's looking at your resume will not get to the bottom half of your resume. Luckily, it's really organized, so I'm just going to jump to experience if I were looking at this resume. But every line they read is a potential, you have the potential of losing their attention, right? People have 30 seconds, 15 seconds to look at your resume. So that means they're going to start at the top and go down and decide whether or not they want to continue reading the resume, if you're a good fit. And so you want to make it easier for them. And that's why I think executive summaries are super, super important, because someone could read your executive summary and then decide to throw away your resume or keep your resume. And if the executive summary really hits me, then I'll keep reading and I might read the whole thing. So that's why I would just put the experience at the top, because that's probably the most important stuff, right? And like I said before, I'm looking for experience, so I'll jump to experience, right? If I'm looking for you having these specific technical proficiencies or skills, I will jump to those sections. But again, people naturally read top to bottom, so you want to put your most important stuff at the top. Okay, so and also with the information hierarchy, uh, you bolded these, so those stand out to me a lot, and nothing's bolded here. So that's why like my eye wants to jump to this stuff, and I think you're showing that this is your more important stuff. So yeah, I also think the font is kind of small on this. I'm not sure what point font it is, but I feel like it's like 10 or 8 or something. So that's you're just trying to cram a lot of information. That being said, it's like really clean. There's lots of white space here, which is really good. I also say this is kind of weird alignment. At least it's consistent, but might as well align to the furthest right, maybe. I would consider doing that. But because the font is so small, like it might be hard to line up things. But either I would move this all the way to the right, or I would just stick it into the left part. But my first impressions are really good. You got lots of experience, not too much to read. Good. You have leadership experience, so I'm just automatically thinking that you're a leader. Whether that's true or not, we'll find out. But that's what I'm thinking. Margins are a little small because again, I think you're trying to stuff a lot of information in here, and I think you can up the font, and hopefully we'll be able to find things that you could take out your resume, save you a few lines to like give you a little more breathing room. But still, I think this is a really good resume so far. Let's jump into it. Get into the details and make sure that when I zoom in, I'm not covering up too much detail because my face is big. My webcam is a little big. All right. I'm going to actually jump down to the experience. Experience. ESPO. Don't know what that is. Business Development and Title Specialist, League of Legends. Okay. So I don't know what ESPO is. Maybe people know. But either way, you're telling me you've done business development and business development, League of Legends. So I have that in my head. That's still good. And you're currently working there. Perform market research to collect over 200 potential sponsors, influencers, teams, and talent in League of Legends in the League of Legends esports community. That's pretty cool. That leaves question marks, but I think good question marks. Use Zoho CRM to input, track, and onboard leads onto the platform and completed other B2C development goals. Okay, so you're talking in business and marketing terms. Perfectly fine. I think that's who you're targeting, so that's okay. Don't type out CRM and B2C for people that are going to understand that. That's just going to waste space. I don't remember what CRM is. I know what B2C is, business to consumer. CRM. What is CRM? Customer relationship management. So I think that's pretty much a software. But that's good. Like you should be talking that way. And Zoho, I'm guessing, is a specific program. So people in this industry would know what that is. Yeah, this is really interesting. I want to know, like, I think this first bullet point. Like, what was done with this market? So you perform this market research to collect. I guess what I'm confused now is, did this market research lead to getting sponsors? Or are you collecting information on sponsors, influencers, teams, and talent? For what? Because I think I can interpret this two ways. I can interpret it that you performed information on influencers, teams, and talent to get sponsors, or you're doing market research to figure out like you're collecting all this information for market research to do something that you haven't said here. So maybe it's to decide whether or not we throw an esports expo, or we should do a esports convention, or it's to decide that we should go into League of Legends as an investment for an esports team. Or yeah, and I think that's what you're saying. I think you're trying to collect all this data to make an informed decision, and I don't know what that informed decision is. I think that would be important to put in here. Because if you told me this is for, let me think. Let's say you're applying for a job that is a startup and trying to find like let's say this is for an agency, right? So you're trying to find like what talent to represent in the scene. That's the company's what the company's goal is. So you doing market research to figure out, to determine if it's profitable to go into League of Legends, if it's profitable to go in League of Legends, I think that is important to say. And now I need to look up what Espo is. What scares me is that if I am can't figure this out. I wish it was easy to find. So this is the problem. If I don't know what Espo is, then it's gonna take me a while. I have to go Google it myself, right? Because the questions that's bumping up into my head, if I am not convinced enough in your resume, I'm not gonna go look it up. While this could have had a chance to really, really impress me. London-based service Espo announced. I'm so curious. Offering new ways for brands and fans to support esports teams and players. And stake team. Oh, so is this betting? Promote global fan interactions. This is interesting. Oh, sad. Okay, that's just the article link. So Espo. So this is new. This is arriving in 2020. So collecting feedback from the community and then learning to do something with that information. So you can support your favorite teams, interact with them. Limited edition team merch only available on Espo. Interesting. For the teams, you get sponsorship, expansion, engagement. Sponsors get advice, ROI, and activations. This is really interesting. So because this is a startup and people might not know about it, maybe you need to explain what Espo is, right? And even if you don't want to explain what it is, you giving more information to figure out like what the goals are here for this organization and what problems you're solving and what goals you're trying to achieve or you have achieved, I think is really, really important and really, really interesting here. Especially when we're talking about something with business development, I think any business person would be like really interested. So I think that's the only thing missing here in this first one. Otherwise, I'm really, really impressed by it. Thanks for the follow, Trent. Trent Knox. Oh, my wife left the door open and it's so nice. It is so nice right now. Oh, I need to get outside. Please, Corona, stop. All right, so let's move on. Infinity of Cool Springs. Porter. Oh, it's transporter, huh? Okay. Transport loaner vehicles to and from customers who are unable to drive to the dealership. Shuttle Nissan headquarters employees to and from deal. Okay, so this is pretty much a job to make money. And yeah, to keep making money. That's what I see that as. There's nothing wrong with that. I think there's something very valuable in that, to just know that you're always hustling and working. You need to pay for your college. You need to pay for living expenses, whatever. You're just staying busy. That's important. Using these two bullet points to describe what your job responsibilities are might not be the most effective thing to do. Instead, if there's a way to figure out how to spin this experience into the job you're applying for, whether it's like customer service, I want to know more than I just drove people. Now, If that is all you can really say from this, that's fine. Put it as one bullet point, and this is just one of those. This is just an experience that just tells me, hey, I worked. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. Especially if you, unless you have something more important to take up that space, then you can cross this out. Veterans Affairs, student workers, Mesa, Arizona. Yeah, you've been in a lot of places. That's really interesting and curious to me, because even Tennessee and Arizona are two opposite places of the country. Let's see, data entry and transfer from Excel to VA1's software. Use Salesforce to validate data entries and access student information. Okay, so I think you're missing impact here. Again, this is good, like you got work done. Do I care that you use Salesforce? Do I care that you use VA1s? Do I care that you use Excel? It's all going to depend on the job you're applying for. So what do you want them to know about your Veterans Affairs that's going to help you get the job? Is it because you're familiar with data entry? Is it because you're detail oriented? You have to figure out what those answers are, and then make sure you say your responsibility and how you've had impact. Wow, Trent, that's really, really cool. You discovered my YouTube channel for looking for marketing webinars. All right, you need to tell me how that came up. I am so curious. And maybe we'll talk like after this resume, but you can totally put it in chat because I'm curious like what search terms and stuff. If you can provide me that information, that'd be really cool. I'm dumbfounded that you found my channel looking for marketing webinars. Navy Exchange. So this one was full year, so that's impressive. That's interesting, and maybe this is how you got to Spain. I'm like so interested in this resume. Like I'm so curious about this person, right? So like, actually, I just want to like, I want to be completely convinced so I can just like send you an interview and like talk to you and figure out like, wait, what is your life story? This is so interesting, right? So these are like little breadcrumbs you're leaving. Provided high-level customer service and technical support. Assisted as a flex role associate for other departments as needed. Actually, I really like that second bullet point. In esports, I think you'll always hear the term, and in startups, like, I wear many different hats, you know? Because people end up doing different responsibilities all the time. Because we run lean, and we rub shoulders a lot, and there's just really talented people that know random things, you know? We have a videographer that does like makes his own t-shirts at Golden Guardians. So like we've had him print stuff for us or help design graphics work, even though he's hired for video work. So that's like really cool. So saying that you've been a flex role is very curious, and I wish there was more detail on just like even just showing that like you've done random things to help people meet, even like saying like to meet stringent deadlines or to fill in for the fact that like you don't have enough employees or something like that. So that tells me a lot about you, and that's really cool, and I like that. I just want more impact in there. Provide a high-level customer service and technical support, though. I'm curious, like how you can spin that one too. Like, what kind of customer support? What kind of technical support? If you had to learn like brand new things to be able to understand technical support, I think that's good. So yeah, these are good. Like just check boxes. This is what I did. I want to know impact. Fleet Logistics Center, Rota, Spain, logistics support internship. So I think also you can potentially combine these two. If it'll save you a little bit of space. You know, you can combine the dates to make it look even more full. It also like it's cool that you went from internship to having a job with them. or extending that. So I think you could even combine these in a creative way to save space. Logistics supports with FLC Rota for Navy ships visiting. So, okay. So this is telling pretty much exactly what this is saying right here. I need to scroll up. You guys can see that, right? Yeah, you can see that. So this needs to be more meaningful to me. Generated, yeah, that first bullet point needs to be more meaningful to me. Like, tell me what that means, how that looks, what problems you solved. Generate logistics situational reports sent to higher headquarters. Okay. So I know there's ways to make this more interesting too, because you just sent reports. But was this for safety, to ensure efficiencies, to ensure accountability, to make sure things are running faster, to make sure that supplies are equipped, our inventory is continually stacked up, like those kind of things? Like, give me those answers and impact, and tell me how it's important. I think that is going to be make all these experiences pop more, right? Wow, this is such a interesting resume. I really like it. Okay, let's jump up to leadership, because that's what I think this is the order that I'd want things in. Staff ASU Esports Association. Okay, you know what? I take it back. I want your leadership above your experience. Or I might even say esports experience instead of leadership. Because right now I see that these are two esports things. And so far, this is the only maybe gaming thing, maybe not esports, because I don't know if just looking at the name. I know now, after I've done a research, that this is esports related. So maybe even just putting esports experience and moving Espo up here too, to kind of fill in this gap of 2020 to the present. I would consider doing that, right? You don't have to do what everyone else has done traditionally when it comes to organization. You just need to make sure that whatever way you organize your information is just makes sense to the reader, right? So even saying esports experience, non-esports experience, like, I think that's very clear to me, because then I can look at this non-esports experience and be like, what am I looking for here? I'm looking to understand that this person works really hard, has well-rounded, has more interest than just esports, those kind of things. All right. So staff, ASU Esports Association. So I know that you go to Arizona State University, or you went there. That might not be obvious here, so I might even put Arizona State University Esports Association. I might do that. If you're applying for a job in Arizona or in the nearby areas, maybe you can just keep it ASU, and people already know. Also, just saying staff as your position is very weak. Even if that's what they labeled you as, I would actually just find a descriptive title. For example, the Golden Guardians, I'm an esports marketing analyst, right? If I was applying for a job that is maybe not so marketing related, I might change my title just so that they understand, right? Now, if I'm bringing my marketing experiences into that job, then I keep esports marketing, but I might change it to content creator or like video editor, or those kind of things, depending on what I need to do. So with something like staff, you should change that to be something more descriptive. Managed calendar of 18 teams for matches and tournaments. Secured Cooler Master sponsorship. Provide 12 sets of peripherals for esports upcoming open use gaming facility. So is this location important? I don't think so. Unless there's something really special about it that I'm not aware of, or if you're the person that's gonna be reading this resume is aware of, I would either cut it or tell me why it's important that is it. But secured Cooler Master sponsorship for peripherals, to get free peripherals for the ASU Esports Club, or for the club facility, something like that. Oh, by the way, thanks, Trent. I will take a look at that soon. Ran and helped select inaugural Valorant roster and for Andbox tournament and successfully finished top 8. Launched Twitch sponsored campaign to promote that. There's a grammatical error there. To promote that included community giveaway. To promote something that included community giveaway. Okay, so these are a little fluffy. I think a lot is happening here, and I think it's interesting. I think it's like 8 out of 10 on the way there. I think if you add a little more impact, fix the grammatical errors, you really focus on what the point you're trying to get across is, I think that's going to help that pop a lot more. Then obviously changing, like maybe you could even just say club manager or partnerships, because it looks like you shared sponsorships. Like that's a big deal. That's huge. And especially if you're looking for a job that requires that, I think that's hard to come by, and to prove that you've done it, like that's a big deal. Really big deal. Fortnite Community Manager, ASU Esports Association, provided initial rounds of feedback prior to inaugural Play Versus entry into collegiate esports. Oh, excuse me. That is not a reflection of this resume. That yawn was not a reflection of this resume. Fortnite Community Manager, ASU Esports Association. So, Community Manager, that's helpful. I already know. And know what you've done. That's important, especially when skimming through a resume. That's why the staff is not, like, you need to change that up. Provided initial rounds of feedback prior to inaugural Plays Versus entry into collegiate esports. Managed the #1 collegiate Fortnite team on the West Coast for 3 semesters. That's cool. For a long time. #1. So these are impactful things. I'm so curious at what that looked like. Acted as collegiate student advisor and leader for students new to the scene interested in growing their collegiate esports community, and was given Coach of the Season award for this. Okay, this is worded really funny. I would say awarded Coach of the Season by, maybe this is a second bullet point. Hey Tibbers, what you whining about? You need your treat? Give me 1 second, guys. Tibbers finished his food and now is begging for his post-food reward dessert thingy. All right. You guys aren't aware, I have a Boston Terrier, a dog named Tibbers. So this bullet point gets a little wordy and long. It loses its punchiness and impact because it just kind of starts using a lot of words to say something simpler, I think. Acted as is not good. I brought this up last time, and I think it's really important. Let's go to a different link. Last time I went to this. This time I'll go to the Indeed.com, which is a resume thing. They look at resumes. A website. Oh my gosh. Job posting site. There we go. So probably watching this is important, but good action words, right? Acted as is not probably on this list. Is not. Enacted. So I would really think about, like, what's a strong word to use? Maybe advised or led. Even educated. Oops. We need a better word there. Responsible. So let's see. Maybe achieved or awarded, I think would be good, which I don't see on the list, but I think those are good. Like awarded Coach of the Season. Actually, if you got coach of the season by growing the educational, like people's interest in esports, then if those two are connected, which I could see them being two separate points, but if they're connected, awarded coach of the season for, or because I advise students or educated students in the growing collegiate esports community, something like that. This is just really long and a little too wordy and not punchy. Okay. So then, after leadership, I might put education, technical proficiency, skills. Key skills are my favorite games. Education. So on a previous resume, I talked about like not putting high school, not putting primary school, those like that stuff on your resume. I think this is a case where why would you put your high school? It's because you did it in Spain. I think that's a very short thing to say, but that explains a lot more about your experience because I might also think you're international. Luckily, you put San Francisco in here, so I know you're in the US. And you're also willing to relocate. That's cool. But I think putting this context to make your resume make sense is really important. Like, why were you in Spain? Why were you in Spain? But now I have that answer to me. So this is right. You're not saying like I got an amazing GPA or I did all this high school stuff. You're just literally putting this in here to say that like that's why I was in Spain. I went to high school in Spain. That's why I have work experience in Spain. So I think that's cool. Perfectly fine to use up that. Maybe make it into one line or something, but I think that works. I'll also put a little space between here just to separate that. Arizona State University, BS Management, WP Carey School of Business. Okay. Favorite games. I think this is fine. This gives a little more personality and makes you a little more well-rounded, especially because there's a lot. And because you say you have community and team management experience in these, that's important. I think that's a really cool addition and creative way to do that. Yes, I want to be famous, Mr. IR 981203 TS54. Man, how do I block this? How do I get rid of a bot? Can I do that from Streamlabs? I don't think so. I think I need to do it from... Oh, I can. Block. Bam. Get out of here. Oh, can I delete the message? How do I delete the message? Oh, well, whatever. Yeah, this is cool. Technical proficiencies and key skills. Okay. Adobe Photoshop, Asana. It's hard to read through all this, but I think you did an okay job. I might want to see like bullet points instead, but you're trying to save room, so I think this is okay. But Adobe Photoshop CC, Asana, WordPress, G Suite, Office 365. I would honestly just put Office 365 and scratch out this stuff to keep it shorter. Slack, soldering, PC building, Salesforce, Power BI, Zoho. Yeah, I think that's okay. I think you could potentially scratch off soldering and building PC, but that's kind of cool too. Communication, leadership, teamwork, community management. I would also try to figure out a way to not get community management cut off like that. Maybe switch out negotiating and put community negotiating, self-management. Self-management's a weird one. Emotional and cultural intelligence. That's interesting. I like that one. Yeah, I think this is fine. Again, I think the biggest takeaway, move this stuff, this top half, to the bottom. I would change maybe esports experience and like esports experience. Then maybe not non-esports experience, but like other experience. Yeah, I think that's how I would do it. Because non-esports experience kind of sounds like it sounds a little more dismissive. But I'll put the important stuff at the top. Move this stuff to the bottom, and continue thinking about like why every single bullet point matters on your resume. What is the point of putting this on this resume? There's no point. Remove it, or start getting really creative on how to like turn it into something that really fits what the job is asking for. I think those are like my two big takeaways. Otherwise, I think this resume looks great. It reads pretty well too. You have good experience. You just have to make sure that the impact is really, really obvious and they're convinced. And then customize this summary, profile, executive summary, whatever you want to call it, to be really catered towards the job you're applying for. Otherwise, great resume, Taylor. I'm really excited. It's cool. Cool. All right, those are the resumes I have for today. It's almost 10. I got like an hour left. Stream ends around 11 because it's me and the wife do pancakes on Saturdays, but it might be waffles today. But in the meantime, I really have to go to the bathroom. I drink a lot. In the meantime, I want to hear, what do you guys think about the resume? Let me put it back up. Let's go to the bathroom. Is it this one? This one. Yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts. BRB. All right, no opinions on the resume. No problem. That's fine. We will go into the rest of the stream. So, oh, I slept on my neck wrong. My neck is really bugging me today. It's quite unfortunate. All right, so I want to talk about should working for free in esports. Let's bump this up. I think this is a hot topic. Always a hot topic. Might receive hate for my opinions. We will see. And I hope people are in here because I think this is a really important discussion. I think it's really hard to deal with this discussion one-sided. So if we're able to talk about it, I think it will help you guys understand free work and me to really tackle the questions and the thought process behind free work. Whoops. Trent. All right, I gotta see this. That's tiny. Oh, so you found me on YouTube. You decided to jump onto Twitch. Interesting. I'm curious, why are you watching me on Twitch versus YouTube? Oh, these are live seminars. It popped up under marketing. Oh, because I put esports marketing analyst in it. Ooh, interesting. You'd love to join the show as if possible. That is something I've been thinking about, bringing people on to just talk about things. What's your pitch? Why should I bring you onto the show? To just talk about the free work? Is that what you're asking? Like to ask questions and those kind of things? I have now dropped down the list under marketing. Probably how you found me. All right. Let's jump into things. Okay. You guys ready? Gotta turn on my YouTube voice. May possibly make this YouTube content. Kind of prepared for this. Got my notes. All right, today we're going to be talking about one of the big controversial topics in esports that everyone loves to hate and hates to love. Working for free. Why should we be working for free? Why shouldn't you be working for free? How to work for free? How to not be taken advantage of? Those are all things that I want to talk about today in this video when we talk about working for free in esports. So, let's jump into things. Why is working for free one of the most valuable things you can do to get a job, right? I think there's two things. At least two things. And let's make this. Oh. Let's zoom in a little bit, huh? Not too much. That's probably good. Screw it. Let's just make it big. All right. There are two reasons why you should be working for free in esports. And this is not for everyone. Let me tell you that right off the bat. This is not for everyone. But at least two of the reasons. Access and money. And I didn't mean money. Money is not the thing. Access and more money. I think there's two really big deal, oh my god, really big deals on why you should be working for free in esports. Okay, let's jump into why that is. So, before that, why should you and who should, right? Because not everyone should work for free. Some people should work for free. Not everyone should be working for free. So why should you specifically, those of you listening, work for free? Because you have no experience in a specific thing. And two, because you want value and access. Actually, non-monetary value and access, right? I think if you have experience already, like experience enough to get paid, then you probably shouldn't work for free. Right? If you have experience making graphics and people are willing to pay for your graphics, you probably shouldn't do free work when it comes to graphics. But if you're able to get a non-monetary value for your graphics, or you're able to get access to something you weren't able to because you did it for free, maybe you should do that specific job for free, right? So next thing, let's go into the non-monetary things that turn into more money. Let's make it even more like exciting. More money. Because value is not just about money, right? Oh, actually, another thing I want to put in here. if you can live without money. Yeah, without money. Yeah. If you can live without money, let's say you're living in your parents' basement, or I shouldn't say that. Let's say you're living with your parents and you don't need to pay rent. Maybe you have a job that pays enough so you don't need the money right now. Right? That's the big question here. That's a big part of like if you can work for free or not, right? And I'll get a little bit more into that later. Chat, if you guys have any questions, let me know. And we can go into that because I think there's a lot of things I might be skimming over. But if you guys have questions, disagreements, if you have disagreements, let me know too. And we can talk about those because my opinion might be wrong. I'm just talking about my personal experience on how like free work has gotten me a job in esports. To the YouTube comment. Do I support Israel or Palestine? To be honest, I'm an ignorant, dumb American. I don't know. I'm not educated enough in understanding that stuff. Oh, Trent, so you just decided to jump on both? I appreciate that. Give me the more views? Wow, what a supporter, dude. All right. There are more value you can receive than just money. What are those, right? I think one thing is knowledge. And all these things can turn into more money, right? Let's say you're working at a job, $10 an hour for a year, right? Part-time, and you through that you make, I don't know, $12,000. But if you're able to gain knowledge, or if you're able to gain non-monetary value that's able to get you a job a year later because you work for free for a year, that's able to pay you $20 per hour, $25 per hour, but you have a full-time job, you can make more money that way, right? Versus if you're doing stuff for $10 an hour and not even working full-time. It's just like a random formula example. So you can gain a ton of knowledge working for free. Thing is, if you're working for free, you're having more opportunities to do work, gaining more experiences, etc. Right? So being able to work for free allows you to get connected with people, and you can gain knowledge. Right? For example, let's say I have no experience in social media management. Right? I've done social media stuff. I have Twitter, I have Snapchat, I have Instagram on my phone. I've done a little bit of YouTube stuff. But suddenly you're doing work for free for Golden Guardians, covering, although I don't think we accept free work. We pay everyone. But because we should and we can, right? But let's say you have no experience, you want to be social media management, and we're like, hey, we're looking for someone to cover TFT live coverage. You being able to do that and learning how to do that because you actually have something to cover and guidelines and hours set aside to do this work, you're going to gain knowledge and experience, right? And I'll add experience to this list right now. If you decided not to do free work and you had nothing to do, then this would be completely on your own accord. You'd have to learn and find and do things yourself. But that's really, really hard. And then suddenly you have access to our paid social media manager, like employed social media manager, where you can ask questions, learn new things, learn how to schedule on Twitter. You can learn how to, as you give examples of copy, they can proofread it and correct it for you and give you more insight, right? So these are things, that knowledge is really, really helpful. You can ask questions. You suddenly have contact to someone. And that's what I also want to talk about with like access, right? Which I'll get into in a little bit. When it comes to experience, again, I already explained that. Experience, you're actually getting the job. And you have things to put on your resume because you said, I covered TFT for Golden Guardians for 3 tournaments that netted over 50,000 impressions. Or that increased engagement every single tournament by 50%. Those are the things that you're actually able to put on your resume that's impressive and give you some clout, right? The other thing is authority. And this, again, this all like connects with knowledge and experience. Suddenly you're able to gain authority on a subject, right? For me personally, when I was doing social media management stuff or social media stuff, I was digesting tons of content. I used to watch Gary Vee every single day during lunch at work, right? He did a daily V, which he doesn't do. I think he does a weekly V, but I haven't followed him in a while. But he posted videos every single day. So at lunch, I'd eat my salad, I'd eat my Chipotle, whatever, at my engineering job, and just watch his video and learn and learn and learn and learn and learn. But knowledge and education means nothing if you're not able to apply it. So then, because you're suddenly able to gain the experience, you're actually able to exercise on these things that you're learning, or you're able to test things, you're suddenly gaining authority. Because, right, if you're able to say, like, I know how to run a TFT live cover, I know how to do live coverage for TFT, suddenly you're gaining more authority, right? And depending on who you're working with, that also gives you more authority. If I'm able to say, like, if you're able to say, hey, I ran Golden Guardian's Twitter account, that gives you authority. Yeah, Gary Vee is awesome, dude. Gary Vee is great. So something that bumps you up, and this authority actually gets you more money, right? Another example, when I was working with Golden Guardians as a freelancer, I was doing just video edits, right? Eventually, what happened was once I moved to LA, I met with Rachel and Daniel, who is a social media manager and the director of operations for our esports corporate side. And we ended up talking about YouTube and social media. And because of the experiences I gained from doing free work, because of the experience I gained from talking to people in the industry, and also digesting a ton of Gary Vee content, I was able to talk to them, and they believed that I understood things, and then I showed that through some actions, through my video edits and how I made content specifically for like Twitter and Instagram. I suddenly gained authority, which led to them being confident to give me a full-time position. So these are all things that can actually, like, non-monetary things, value things that aren't money, that gets you more money in the end. It's an investment, right? Investment in the future. So next I want to talk about, like, you actually get not just access, I would say it gives you unique access, right? If I apply for a job, I get access to just like the people working at the job. And obviously you have more networking and all those other things, but with you working for free, you can work for like almost anyone as long as they want to work with you, right? I could go to Ninja potentially and be like, I'm going to edit Twitter videos for you for free. And if he's able to say like, yeah, like we can work together, like that gives me a unique access that people that are trying to get a full-time job or get hired by Ninja to get paid, like that's a lot harder process than getting free work, right? And that's exactly how I got a job, this is exactly how I got a job with Travis Gafford. So I think working for free gives you really, really unique access that you wouldn't have before, right? So this will help you. This will actually force you into the industry too. Because suddenly, if you're looking for jobs in esports, paid jobs, you only have 100 potential opportunities. But if I'm willing to work for free for anyone in the esports industry, well, suddenly I have like tens of thousands of opportunities if I'm working for free. So again, if you have no experience in esports, this is the easiest way to get into the industry and get talking to people and get networking with people in the esports industry to impress people, right? I also think once you're able to get access to these people, you have unique opportunities with mentorship. Because again, if you're providing them free value and they're not paying you, when someone works for me and I don't pay them, which hasn't really happened in a while, I would feel guilty. There's like some social currency there, right? Where it's like, you provided me so much value and I need to give that back, because if you're a good human being, a decent human being, you try to pay it forward. So there's this like weird thing where if you're working for free, suddenly you have given me a lot more than I've given you. So I need to give you something. So that's either mentorship, that is networking, introducing you to new people, introducing you to jobs, Karo, who was in chat earlier, like we had Wormlex and Karo, they were able to connect and get jobs. My affiliation and network with Wormlex and Manster before has had me help them get jobs with Golden Guardians, like freelance positions, right? So, and then once you do a good job, you get recommendations. This is how I got my job. Oh, I can't spell. Or what's wrong with my spell? There we go. This is exactly how I got a job with Travis Gafford. Or, sorry. This is how I got a job with Golden Guardians because of Travis Gafford. This is how I got a job with Ateo because of Travis Gafford. Because I was providing him so much value by doing free work, which eventually was like freelance paid work for Travis, that he was like, I need to find this guy a job. I didn't ask for him to. He eventually asked me one day, he's like, why are you doing this stuff? I'm like, oh, I really like your stuff. I want to give back to the esports community. I think you're one of the best people doing that, so I want to support you. And I also want to learn. I want to flex. I want to learn. I want to flex my like muscles and practice. And ultimately, I'm trying to get a job in esports. So I think this will help. Like those are things that I've said to Travis. And then Travis eventually got me a job with Ateo, who does esports clothing, and Golden Guardians. I think the message that he sent to Golden Guardians was like, hire this guy, right? He also retweeted my stuff. He also tagged me on videos that I created, being like, oh, Just Casual did this. Those are all things that you get because I got unique access to certain people. All these things happen where like all the things happened because of that. Trent says, completely agree with what you're saying. However, the struggle is being convincing someone that they need to insert themselves and be. It's always convincing someone that they need to insert themselves and be extroverted. Yeah, I agree. Like figuring out how to do that is really, really hard. He also says, I agree that you should be willing to work for free. However, if you're just getting started, be cautious of who you're working for because they are scammers. There are scammers. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And eventually one thing I guess I can talk about this. Classroom, are there any questions about everything I've talked about so far before I get into how not to screw yourself? Is there anything that I'm missing here that I need to cover? No, I think this is it. Okay. What is your skill? What do you mean, what is my skill? Trent. Oh, yeah. I guess, so another thing is, maybe I should put that before her. What value do you provide? Right? Working for free. This is a good point. This is so important because, right? I'll tell you this. Big creators or big people in industry. Again, I'll give an example of two people that I talk about a lot, Travis Gafford and Devin Nash. Devin Nash, if you don't know, he's the CMO of Nerd Fusion. He is very front facing when it comes to esports marketing, esports, gaming, Twitch, YouTube, marketing stuff. And therefore, those two people get a lot of DMs. And Devin specifically gets a lot of things that say, I'll work for free. I'll work for free. I'll work for free. I'll work for free. I'll do anything. Like, give me the internship. Give me a job. I'll work for free. Blah, blah, blah. Right? But the problem is, and Devin has said this on stream, he's like, I don't want to hire interns. I don't want to hire entry levels. I don't want volunteers working for free. Or at Nerd Fusion specifically. Why? Because that actually takes a lot of time away from him. Because he needs to spend, he's already got a full 40, 60, whatever crazy work hours or like balanced work hours he works. But the thing is that when you're working with someone inexperienced, you need to babysit them and hold their hand, right? So actually, if you're inexperienced, you do not save them time. And let me scroll up because my webcam is a little too big right now. Let's shrink it a little bit. This is really big. If you're inexperienced, which you probably are, that's why you're working for free, you are not saving the person time. What value you're bringing them is free work. They don't have to pay for you. That's the big value. They don't have to pay for your services, right? So what ends up happening is that the best value you can give them are things that you can do independently. Independent work and busy work. Right? If I say, hey, Devin has said this on a stream recently. And if you're looking for an in with Devin, you should absolutely 100% do this. His problem is that he wishes Twitch would save all his VODs. He wants to be able to go back and look at his old League of Legends, like 10 years old videos, like where he's talking about jungling. But Twitch doesn't save VODs. So him and his guest, Jeremy, were talking about like, Jeremy was saying like, why don't you just hire someone, pay them $10 and like take every single VOD from your Twitch that you upload now and just put it onto YouTube so it lives somewhere, right? Or just save it into a Google Drive or something like that, right? And that is value. That is valuable for Devin Nash because he wants that. It's also busy work and it's also independent. Like how much does he actually have to monitor you to make sure you do that, right? It's not hard. It's very clear to see that you did it or you didn't. And it's also really easy to do. Like anyone can rip a VOD and post it, publish it somewhere, right? So that's like what kind of value you can bring without killing their time. But what if you're able to be like, for Devin, I can make you thumbnails that convert because I know how to do that. Or and titles. Thumbnails and titles, right? Because I don't need to write this down. But if you can give them something really, really valuable, and that's what I did for Travis, you know? I got my in with Travis, and I'm like, hey, I can upload your podcast, your Hotline League, onto a podcast platform that's free because I learned how to do it. Because it's free, he doesn't have to manage it, it doesn't cause him extra work. That was helpful, right? I did it for him. He's like, oh, thanks. Really appreciate it. Thanks. And then I sent him like, hey, look at the analytics. Like you're getting actually more, you're getting 1,000 views, 1,000 listens on your audio podcast format. He's like, oh, that's interesting. So I kept him interested, right? Because he's busy and he doesn't have time to like coach me or teach me things. And I'm not asking for that. And then what ended up happening was I started doing timestamps and posting the timestamps on YouTube. And people love that timestamp. So I'm, again, providing him value, and he doesn't need to do any extra work. And then eventually, I started making social video cuts of his thing, where I just subtitle them, do some fancy animations, but they're like really, really crappy, but they're good enough. And then I sent him, hey, if you want, you can use this. Something that was providing him so much value that he couldn't ignore me, and he'd like DM me or respond to my DMs quickly because like I am helping him, right? And then eventually that's how I was like, hey, let me pay you some money to make these videos. How long does it take? Or how much do you want for them? And I gave like a super low answer because I just like, again, the money, it wasn't the money that was important. It was the non-monetary things. I got knowledge, I got experience, I gained authority, and then all these things happened for me. So if you're able to go past, do work independently, that provides more value, you win. That's the key thing here. you can this will work with anyone, right? And let's say you contact Ninja and you DM him, willing to work for free. He won't respond to you. He's busy. But the thing is, since you're going to do it and you're doing it for free and you want to gain this experience anyway by just doing the exercise, you just start making it on Twitter and tagging him every time you do it. You know, let's say you make these social clips or a Ninja stream. Just keep doing it, keep doing it. And if you're able to prove that it is valuable because you are a 0 follower Twitter account that's able to get 10,000, like 5,000 views on his clips, and you're like, hey, Ninja, I want to make these for you. I want to make these for you. I want to make these for you. And you continue getting his attention because you will get his attention somehow. Maybe you need to be creative and go through his wife. Maybe you have to go through his agent, whatever it is. You working independently, not causing him any trouble, not causing him any more work, and you continually providing value, you win. Right? So, Trent brought up a really good point in chat. And I definitely want to talk about this. You can totally get screwed over when you're doing free work. People will take advantage of you. Right? And they could be doing it maliciously, and they could be doing it accidentally, right? I volunteered for at least like 3 or 4 organizations, right? And some of those I lasted 2 months before I quit, and some of them I stayed for 6 months before I quit. And it all depended on like, am I actually getting value, right? There are all these volunteer jobs for esports organizations that are up and coming, right? The thing is, what was I getting from them? I was getting, experience for my resume. I was getting experience for my resume, right? I needed to be like, hey, I can make social media stuff, but I can't just make it for myself. I need to make it for someone else. Because if I'm able to take an amateur esports org and grow their followers from 50 to 5,000, that's a big deal, right? But if I said, I can't actually say, because I didn't believe in the organization, there's no way that I could take this organization from 50 followers to 5,000, then I said, you know what? I'm not really getting anything from here, right? However, there are some people that I worked for that I'm like, hey, because I'm building a rapport with this person who can get me an in later, I am getting value for that, right? So you have to always be checking, like, are you actually getting something from this relationship? Is this going to benefit me in some way? Now, I don't want it to sound like super cold where you're looking for a specific transaction, because I think doing things in good faith is really good, but you have to really make sure that like the person or the organization that you're working with is not trying to take advantage of you. They're not like, oh, this person will continue editing videos for free because we needed free work, and they're not just going to be like, we're just going to take as much as we can from him before he quits, right? They need to be people that are like, oh, hey, Sam, like you're making these really good video edits. Like, how are you doing? I want to check up on you. Like, do you have any questions? And if you're able to ask them like, hey, you know, I'm doing all these video edits. Like, can you teach me a little bit about like the pitch decks that you're working on for sponsors? Because I'm like interested in that. If you're able to get something and you're learning something from the experience, that's important, right? And some of those experiences, those volunteer experiences that I worked on, like the 2 months, even though I eventually realized that, hey, you know what? I think I can do something bigger and more impactful. That's why I'm leaving. Like, that's okay, because those 2 months I still like, I'm like, oh, you know, I really learned how to use Photoshop. Or I talked to the person and he recommended me this book and I learned a lot from that book. But I also realized that like the job here that I have doesn't make sense and I need to be focusing on video editing and not social media. Like those kind of things. So you can pivot all the time, but don't get stuck in this place that you're working for 12 months volunteering that's going nowhere and it's a dead end and you're not getting any experience or anything valuable out of it. So there's opportunity cost there, right? There are over 5 brand new land centers in Austin, Texas area, all funded by non-endemic investors who have no cultural connection to esports. Also, really understanding your why and what desire you gain for working for free. Yeah, absolutely important. What are you getting from working for free? Also, if you need money, really need money, do something that gets you money. Do not actually yeah. And I would say these two are connected. If you are living alone, have roommates, need to pay rent, you really need to make sure you can pay your bills. Go get a job at McDonald's for 20 hours a week. Go stay with your engineering job to pay off your student loans while you spend your extra hours, your free time when you could be playing video games or watching Netflix, and do your grind. Like, do not screw yourself over. Do not become homeless. Do not starve because you're doing all this volunteer work. Like, the timing might be off. You might need to work 60 hours at an Amazon doing delivering packages because you need to make money to live. That means that you just don't have the time to work on esports stuff. But if you think about a way to go from 60 hours to 20 hours because of a promotion or a change of career or jobs or finding other businesses or whatever, so that you can make enough money to live your bare minimum so that you have more time to do volunteer work in esports, that's okay. Yes, this will most likely be a YouTube video. No problem, dweeb. So yeah, don't fall into this trap where you're like couch surfing in LA that like old esports people did. Like, I don't think you need to do that. You could do that, right? If you have the means to do that, then go for it. But like, make sure it makes sense. Again, sharing things that happened in my life. I was working in engineering, wanted to do esports. I was doing esports stuff. I worked from 7 a.m. to like 4:30 p.m. or something like that. Come home, spend time with my girlfriend at the time, which is now my wife. And then after we stopped spending time, I would go work on my podcast or esports stuff. And then I do that till like 1 a.m. Then wake up and rinse and repeat. So I gave every waking hour that I could. Eventually, I'm like, wait, I can do this. I made connections. I got a job with Weldon Green. And when I got the job with Weldon Green, working on his podcast, what ended up happening was, then it was my fiance, I believe. I think we were engaged at the time. What I did was, I woke up at 5, worked on my project for 2 hours, the podcast for 2 hours, go to work. Like, whenever I had free time at work, I'd like work on my podcast a little bit, which is probably not the best thing to do. Then I come home at 4, spend time with my fiance, and then she'd go to bed at like 10:30, because I think she had a job that she had to get to work at 5 a.m. So we went to bed early, so she went to bed at like 10. And then I work on my podcast for another 4 hours until like 2 a.m. and then rinse and repeat. Wake up early at 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m. with my wife, and then start working on the podcast and going to work. Like, that sucked, but I started doing that. And then what ended up happening was Weldon told me like, wow, Sam, you're really good at this. And then actually at one point I was like, oh, my dream is to like have a media company and be like the person for esports content in the esports scene. Like, I wanted everyone to know my name. And then he's like, hey, if you end up doing this, like, let me know, and I might be interested in investing or like working together or doing something together. I'm like, holy, some guy that's like notable in the esports industry told me that. So that gave me the confidence where like, you know what? Working 4 hours isn't enough anymore. If I was able to work 40 hours a week, 60 hours a week on esports, I could get into the industry. That's what I realized, right? And then from there, I decided, how do I quit my job? And I'm like, and I talked to my wife and all that kind of stuff. And eventually what I realized, like, I need to pay off all my student loans. I need to pay off my car. So then I'd be debt free. And my wife now has a job, and she would be totally willing to support me on that. So I got lucky there, right? And also, I needed some steady income. That's what we decided, right? So then I also figured out like, what are my expenses? How much do I need to live? How much do me and my wife need to live? How much do we need on food? How much do we need on rent? All this, how much do we need for our puppy? All those kind of things, right? Wow, this like went totally delved into story time. um, what did I end up doing was I started rebudgeting all my finances, and I started paying like $3,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $4,000 a month towards like my student loans until I paid off my car and student loans. It was just like, yeah, step 7, get a sugar mama. You're absolutely right. Marry up, people. Guys, marry up. Eventually, once I paid off my student loans after like 10 months after that, and my car, I was debt free. It was October, and I put in my 2-week notice. Oh, also, I had a job lined up. So I had a job overlapping where I was working as a community manager for this mobile gaming company, putting in about 20 hours of work a week. So I was doing this while I was working as an engineer. So I was like sneaking off at work to take care of like random stuff, but then working like in the morning and night on this stuff too. Luckily, it was in Denmark, so like I could kind of work more friendly to their time zone. So, long story short, the reason I'm saying this is like money is important. You have to think about money and you have to think about survival, right? So, plan accordingly how you're going to survive with money. And sometimes this could be like, you know what? Maybe I don't need a Netflix subscription. Maybe can I actually live off of $400 a month instead of $2,000 a month? I'm just putting out random numbers there, right? Maybe that means I have to maybe this means I have to go live with my parents for 8 months to save enough money. Or maybe that means like, hey, if I cut my expenses and work really hard, I could save up enough to quit my job at McDonald's and work on esports, grind super hard, working 80 hours a week for 3 months to gain all the experience I need. You know, that like thinking about money is really, really important. So do not screw yourself over by taking free work if you cannot afford taking free work. That's the point here. Also, do not fall for future promises. I know with one of the companies, they wanted to lock me in when I was doing free work by saying like, hey, you get some equity, and if some equity in the company if we are able to sell it. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But then I really thought about it. Like if I don't remember the numbers, but if I get 1% and you guys sell at $1 million or whatever, or like 0.01% and you sell at like $1 million, I get this much money. Is that really worth it? Do I actually think we're going to sell? And at that point, I'm like, I don't think we're going to sell. It was scary because I'm like, oh, this is kind of a big chunk of change. But ultimately, I decided like when I did doing the math and everything, it wasn't worth it. So eventually I quit because I also got Golden Guardians work on the side. And I'm like, hey, even though I can make more money in this startup, I could also have a successful career and a stable career if I like really, really prove to Golden Guardians that they should hire me full time. And I think that paid off. I don't think they sold yet. That was like 3 years ago. So I'd still be doing free work for them. Wormlax is talking about, they'll do that a real job. My dad was leaving an engineering job at a startup. Try to keep him an extra year by giving him stock options. He's been gone for like 3 years and they still have no stock value. Devin talked about this actually, that employees shouldn't be incentivized to work more than 40 hours a week unless they're given like equity in the company. Because why would he care if like to work harder if it doesn't really change anything for him? Like, yeah. And you know, that's legit. I think that is actually a perfect option too for some people if they're willing to work. And if I know that my results of my work directly impact the result of the company being bought, then I'd be willing to put it on the line because I have skin in the game. If I have no control over like how well, if we can sell our company and they're promising stock options, that scares me because I have no control over if I get that money or not. Right? If I'm a video editor, like I might have some control over if the company gets hired, but most likely not. Because no matter how good or bad my video edits are, like I don't think that changes the fact that the company gets paid or not. Now, if we're talking about a YouTube channel and someone says like, hey, Sam, I want you as an editor for my YouTube channel, you get 20% of the YouTube monetization and we have 0 subscribers, suddenly I have a lot of control over whether or not this channel makes money. So that is something that I would be willing to take if I believe in the partner and the YouTube channel and my skills and our strategy, right? That's something that Jeremy Curious does. If you don't know who that is, this guy makes all these channels, everything that says that JC on there, and he has 16. I gotta find the right one that like links to them all, the right channel page. But he has tons of these, and they all have lots of subscribers. They all make he makes full-time income, and he hires editors. He teaches them how to do things. They work together. He works all really hard on launching channels and figuring them out, and then eventually they become self-sustainable because he works with the editor and they just do it. Yeah, he has 16 channels that he's working on. This is not even all of them. 16 of them publicly facing. Otherwise, he has a few secret ones and probably some client work. It's so interesting. It's this video right here, 4 hours long of just pure gold.
Crazy. I
5 hours
had
long,
2 videos.
where he talks about like how he does YouTube, how he does his channels, what he like. Really good YouTube information. But yeah, don't fall for future promises. Some of them are good, most of them are bad. Sorry, Trent, I've ignored your questions. Are you looking for experiences for a tier 1 org, equity in a growing organization, or the impact of the culture of esports? Yeah, that's a good point, right? For example, Quickshot is an LEC caster, pretty famous, and I saw him on a podcast that got like 5 views. I doubt he was paid for that. So what's the reason for him doing that free work, being a guest on the podcast, right? And it could be impacting the culture of esports. It could be helping those 3 guys or 2 dudes or whatever it was, like shoot their shot and give them good content, right? He might be just trying to better esports. That's purely philanthropic reason, right? So that's a really good point. For me, when I was trying to find volunteer work, I was really trying to get into LCS organizations. So I was like, I need to start at amateur orgs or like non-legit orgs to get experience, and find myself like, oh, you know what? Maybe I need to do stuff in the gaming industry so I can get like actual company behind me on my resume and to do actual work that's valuable to the company. And just like climbing up and figuring out like, how do I actually get part of this? Yeah, and if I want equity in a growing organization, maybe I start my own organization. You know, maybe I start my own YouTube channels, my own network, etc., etc., etc. I spent a lot of time on this subject. It was just like straight up story time. I hope these stories are really interesting to you guys. Yeah, reduce your expenses. I think I talked about that. That way you can make free work actually more sustainable for you. And then again, just actually getting value. I think these are all the points that I'm trying to make. Oh, wow, I'm exhausted. I have a lot of failed experiences and failed experiments, you know? And it's really interesting because one of them worked out really well. Oh, this is not going to work. I forgot about this channel until Dweeb, who's in chat right now, mentioned it in the podcast that we did, esports content. I was going to go through and talk about every single YouTube channel of every single LCS person, LCS team. And I only got to 3. I burnt out. I hated it. I didn't want to do it anymore. I thought it was boring. I wasn't getting views. But this Golden Guardians one, this helped me get a job. Golden Guardians saw it. The right 3 people saw it. And therefore, they're like, we know Sam now. We've heard his name like 3 times because from Travis, from this place, from YouTube. He like interacts with us on Twitter. And even though it only got 67 views, it got to the right people. It actually got to the right people. And I flamed Golden Guardians pretty hard on it. If you want to join, it was really bad. Oh boy, that little chin thing. So glad I don't have that anymore. Actually, it's okay here. Before, it got like really, really long. It was kind of gross. What do people say? Oh, it's just this guy. Oh, that's so sad. Yeah, high impact. And like what's the goal of it? That's a big thing. What's the goal of everything that you do? If you have a goal, that's going to help everything, right? Cuz it kind of keeps you in the direction of true north, like what you need to do, right? This one, like it was interesting cuz I did this video and this video, one to really really help you guys, but also kind of to get Devin Nash's attention, maybe. And he ended up liking it. That was cool. That was cool that I liked it. So he probably watched a little bit of it before he was like, okay, this is like boring. You know, this isn't for me. Just to see like what I'm doing and how I'm talking about him, right? I've sent him an email that I got a response. He was asking for thumbnails on stream live, and I sent him a thumbnail, and he saw it. And where is it? This one. This is talent. I like it. This is the thumbnail that I sent him. So these are like really strategic things that like, because I'll tell you some insight. My future, I've been thinking about like, I have family up in Everett, Washington. And once I have kids, it's really enticing to move up there. I don't know if I will, but I'm just planning. I'm thinking about it. Devin Nash has an agency, Nerd Fusion, that's up in Seattle. So if I start networking now, if I start getting like, that could be a potential job opportunity for me. That's things I'm thinking about. So that's a goal of like spending a little bit of time checking out a stream, understanding him. Like if I really want to go hard, I'd start editing videos for him because I know he has tons of needs. I totally didn't like end this video thing. But yeah, I guess what I'm trying to share is like these ideas, how I'm thinking about strategy, how I'm thinking about getting people's input, how I'm providing value, how to understand things. He didn't end up using it for anything because what ended up happening was he was doing a live on stream and he either wasn't noticing my thumbnails or just decided not to use them because he was talking to multiple people. A lot of people were sending him imager links on Discord. I wasn't exactly sure where I was supposed to get his attention on Discord. Eventually said email, like you could send email. I didn't work on it fast enough, but I sent it to him. And then after the stream, like a day later, he saw it and then sent that email saying like, this is talent. You have talent. I like it, or whatever he said. So he didn't end up using it. He ended up using one that didn't end up working. He went full monkey on it, which that's a joke that he was making about it. It was this one. Click to save gaming. Because it was talks about how YouTube and Twitch and all these platforms are like might end up hurting gaming. So he used this whole meme, the coffin meme or whatever, that was sent. It's really simple, really easy. It makes sense. I still don't think it's the right thumbnail. I think he said it wasn't the right thumbnail. But it could be also multiple things. It could be straight up like the context and people just don't care about it. But I think my thumbnail is better, personally. And if I had more time on it, I would like to make it better too. But it's really simple. The thumbnail that I end up using. Thumbnails and titles are so freaking hard. I'm working on it right now. If you guys don't know, okay, I guess we just transitioned, huh? Do I need to say anything to wrap this up before I go into more information? You like this one? Yeah, I mean, there might be a lot going on, but this is just a straight up meme, so everyone recognizes it right away, even though it's busy. And then you just add YouTube and Twitch onto it because basically YouTube and Twitch are sending gaming into the grave. I guess that's like the point. Yeah, Trent, it's good that Devin got the haircut. He's been struggling. I don't know if he's been struggling. I think he thinks he's struggling, but I think he hasn't had the pop off idea that he has had in the past. Ludwig is a good one. Mixer shutting down is a good one. Ninja and Shroud and their money making and meth, like these are all like big deals. So I think the context of all the rest of them are not as good. So and then he was off the algorithm for a little bit. But then again, I feel like this could have done better. Yeah, I think he's fine. I think he's kind of over exaggerating and like being a little too hard on himself when it comes to the content. But yeah, like he has a lab of people that help him with this stuff. But then he also like reworked the lab. So I really do think that there's room in there for me and I could do stuff. And actually, honestly, a big thing that I'm struggling with right now is like, do I work on my YouTube channel or do I network more and help other people grow their YouTube channels or their content? Because I think I could provide a lot for other people and maybe create a bigger impact that I could with my channel. But I kind of enjoy this and I'm actually getting a community, you guys. And because you guys are actually so personal and talking to me, it's hard to quit this if I wanted to. Let's see. Kind of hard to really see what's happening on my format. Neil Patel. Why do I recognize that? I'm picturing a guy and okay, that's not who I was thinking of. But I've seen this guy and I don't remember much of his stuff. Yeah, I actually, speaking of which, okay, first of all, I keep getting distracted. Is there anything to wrap up in this? Okay, what's my conclusion? I probably should tell people to like and subscribe and comment. Do things for the algorithm to help me out on this video when this is on YouTube. Yeah, so literally working for free is the best thing to do to get into the industry of esports. That being said, you really have to be smart about what the value you're getting from it, what value you're trying to give someone else. And if you're not able to provide value or get value, this is one of the most dangerous things to do working for free, working for exposure. So just be really smart about it, meet the right people, network correctly, and seriously, if you have questions about working for free, like go ahead, reach out to me on Twitter, hit me up in the Discord, and I will talk to you and help you guide you through like what are good opportunities or what are wrong opportunities. Because I think how you work for free is different for everyone's specific scenario, objective, goals, financial situations, and it's not just a clear cutter work for free. I really do believe that, and I don't want people to get screwed over when they work for free. Thanks, guys. All right, that's YouTube. Yeah, training time for because okay, I'll talk about this real quick. I have been stressing about this for probably a month now. Because what I've been doing is as I've been like getting used to how to stream content, because I legit want to stop streaming as much because I want to make like more YouTube content and script it better. And because obviously this thing was supposed to take like 15 minutes and it went almost an hour, probably over an hour, right? Oh, frick, I forgot to record. I'm not recording my Streamlabs. Ah, the pain. I'm gonna have to rip this on Twitch now. Damn, I keep forgetting. So this is last week's stream, right? And actually, let me think. From 2 weeks ago, and you have one. Okay, from. Oh wait, that's right. I have this on YouTube now. Yeah, but I actually have to edit it though too. But I could. I gotta think about this. Oh shoot, I opened up the wrong one actually. I have from last week's. I have still a lot of videos that I can make from this. And right now, even on my channel, do I have anything uploaded that's not published yet? I have a resume review that's not published yet. That's probably going to go out on Tuesday or next Thursday, right? And then I have this that is 4 videos right now. So ultimately, I'm creating content faster than I can upload and edit. Because now that I'm uploading, but I also am scared to commit to like a 3 videos a week upload schedule. That's really hard, and I have to edit faster. So it's nice to have like a bank of content, right? I'm also thinking these resume reviews aren't doing that hot. And think about the future of this channel. I don't think it makes sense to continue doing resume reviews because it's literally the same advice over and over and over and over and over again. So I kind of want to stop doing resume reviews on YouTube and just continue doing them on Twitch. But then I'm scared because I want the person that I'm doing the resume review for to see the video. Like that's what's important, that one person watches it, right? And on Twitch, not everyone's able to do it on Twitch. The VODs get deleted and maybe they won't go back and then I have to go. It's just this complicated thing where like I'm trying to provide value, but it's not scalable and sustainable. I really like doing this stuff. So what am I getting at? This whole free work, as I've been thinking about it, the last like month, I've been thinking like, oh, I wish I could hire an editor. But honestly, I don't have money to do that. I mean, I do have money, but it really come from my own pocket. It's not sustainable. I was hoping that I make money from streaming or YouTube to be able to fund that, but honestly, it's not going to get there yet. I don't feel comfortable taking out from my finances to do that kind of stuff when I don't think this is going to be a profitable YouTube channel and I'm saving up for a house. And that also means that my wife has to sacrifice again, which she's already sacrificed for a ton. So I'm like, oh, if I hired an editor, I would have to trade time, right? Or maybe it's like coaching or something. I even thought like, oh, if I have an extra license for Adobe, if I hired an editor and then paid for their Adobe subscription, which would be like $56 a month, like that might be worth it. But I'm not exactly sure. Because I also don't want to take advantage of people. And my time is also very precious. So I'm trying to figure out what to do about that. But ultimately, I think I'm going to eventually start a new YouTube channel, maybe work with people, and then no one gets paid. I don't get paid. And it's a collaborative project. But I don't know. I have a lot of things in my head. Yeah, Trent, go ahead. We can chat a little bit if you want. Because I've been thinking about more profitable ideas, especially listening to the Jeremy thing. Like he just has a formula that he follows. Literally, it's just a formula to create his channels. And I don't have a formula to create channels. And he goes after profitable channels. It's really easy for him. And I think CPMs for educational and this kind of work stuff is pretty good. But I want to talk about esports, like helping people get a job specifically in esports. Just moved my camera accidentally. But this is something that I noticed. I don't think there's an audience out there. Yeah, we've totally pivoted. Now we're talking about random topics. When I go esports. Okay. Watch this. When I go to esports, this is a TubeBuddy tool. Search volume. There's a ton of people searching esports, right? The competition. There's way too much competition to be making esports content. It's so hard. So let's narrow it down. Esports jobs. I look at this. Devin Nash has a video that's 3 years old. Full Sail. And this is 14K, 1K. 1K from Coach Alni. Alni? I don't know. But he's been doing tons of videos. He's doing a really good job. And he only has 6K subscribers, right? Radiant Esports, they have 14K video. Travis Gafford has a 23K video, but there's no one that's been doing this a lot, and that's pretty much like where it ends. How to get a job in esports. That's where it kind of ends. There's me, 16 views, 8K. So I'm just like, there's so much potential here for esports jobs. The competition is good. It's okay. And the search volume is okay. So I could dominate this space. But seriously, if I dominate the space, what does that mean? I get 23K views for I don't think I can get 23K views for every single one. So targeting this channel, I think is becoming a passion project because I want to make esports better, but not the right side hustle. And also part of this goal of this channel is to prove that I can grow a YouTube channel to myself and to have some authority in that ability. And this is not I don't think this is the right thing to do. Even how to get a job in esports. It stops. There's 4 videos and it stops. Search volume is really poor. So people aren't searching for this stuff. And then there's also the thought that, hey, this could be something where maybe I'm first to the space. Maybe this is something that people are going to start searching a ton. Right? And I could be one of the first people that suddenly, like, when people search, they're like, whoa, this Sam guy has like 200 videos about like how to get a job in esports. Even Hitmarker, who is a job site, esports job marketing site, they don't get views. I can almost compete with them in views. So I don't know. I gotta think of some other ideas when it comes to this. But with your comment about collaboration, Trent, I've been thinking about that a lot too. And I'm actually, which I can say, I'm doing a podcast on Wednesday. Where is my? Let's go back to the outline. All right, so podcast on Wednesday. What is that? August. This will be a collaboration. August 12th. And with AP. Yeah, if I'm doing LinkedIn too. Oh, Trent, I need to know what you're doing. Do I know you? Have we connected before? I think I see a phase flag on your profile photo. He's gonna be a guest on the podcast or interview. I'm gonna be talking to him. Videographer. He used to work for Misfits Esports and Misfits Gaming and Lazarus Esports. Now he does YouTube stuff and he freelances. He's back in the US. So I'm really excited to talk to him. That's gonna happen next Wednesday on the stream. Probably at 8 CST. 8 CT PM. That's really hard to read. And then I think after that, I'm going to also have another guest who I'm excited to talk to is Zenis King. Okay, Peter, who does, I think, consulting work. But I still have to confirm times with him. Brand strategist and content producer. I'm really excited for this because I think a lot of our stuff kind of overlap. And I think we're gonna have some really, really interesting conversations. But I hope if I do my research well for AP, I think we're gonna have some really good conversations too. I'm super low key, but I'm a FaZe fan. I haven't popped off yet. I just know some people. Cool. All right, so I think, wow, it is already 11. I talked so long on this working for free in esports. Hopefully it was helpful. I really hope it is. You know, and like Dweeb, you are working for free in esports. You are making a podcast talking to esports people. So what value do you get of that? Is it worth doing for free? It is. because you're gaining experience and exposure and networking. Let me check real quick on my wife to see that we're eating soon. Come here, Tibbers. Well, I gotta end the stream every time with my dog. So this is Tibby Bear, named after Tibbers from League of Legends, if you guys aren't aware. This is Tibbers. Statue of Tibbers and Annie. It's a fiery, terrifying bear that protects and destroys things. However, this dog is anxious, super emotional, and just wants to cuddle. That is Tibbers. Tibbers, say hi. Hi to the camera. Can you say hi? Can you say hi? Okay. He's just quiet. Interesting trend. Yeah, honestly, I really want to look for a project that I can collaborate on rather than do myself. Although there's things I want to do myself too, but I think there's a lot of opportunities. Honestly, my biggest thought about content right now is to make like meme stuff and funny stuff about LCS, which could eventually go into esports, because I already follow a lot of LCS stuff. I don't follow purely, but like even LCS funny moments like this thing that they do, I think there are. How well do they do these? These are literally just highlights of it, right? These funny parts. Oh, I guess they do this stuff. That's actually what I was kind of thinking of doing this kind of stuff. Oh.
That was clean.
Someone's already doing this.
They want to stand a chance. It's all going to come down to Zazie and that shockwave. They're going on to Dan. Or it's very isolated. Dan is that is one beat.
I also thought about doing something really tailored towards fans of specific teams, to do like, okay, this is all the content that came out about TSM. This is everything you need to know about TSM right now. Okay, let's talk about 100 Thieves. This is all the content that come out of 100 Thieves. This is what we should think about 100 Thieves going into the next game. Those kind of things. But I'm not exactly sure how that would work. And again, it has to be more unique than everyone else's. So I wonder if this guy, the person that makes this, like, if they do enough. Like, what if I just focus on LCS instead of LEC and LCS? And what if I double down on the memes? Could I outperform this? But this is a lot of footage to go over. The real feature? That's possible. I really want to kill it on YouTube. I really want to figure out YouTube, because I think YouTube is really big now and YouTube is a huge future. And I want to learn how to do YouTube. I really want to like be really good at YouTube specifically. Yeah, maybe like a fans digest kind of thing, except like oh, I don't know if you can see Tibbers. He just like shoved his head into my like armpit. He's just calm and wants to sleep now. Yeah, maybe like a fans digest, but it has to be like, that's not good enough. It has to be better than just a fans digest. I kind of want to make like a network on YouTube, like what is a multi-channel network, like a machinima kind of thing. I think that's my like current dream right now. And if that's the case,